A big hello and welcome. It's Kate from Zen Stitching, and I'm super excited that you're here with me today for another one of our Making Zen Artist series. Today, I'm with Isabella Strambio, who is the creative force behind Twome, and she is the most amazing macrame artist, or macramé, as the case may be, depending on your accents. So hello and welcome, and it's lovely that you're back because you're also a returning Making Zen artist.
Yes, from last year. And so I'm really, really excited to be back.
Yes, we were just saying how much has happened in that year that we were last chatting. There was a big move, and
Yes.
I'd love to hear more about it. Because you moved from.
So since we spoke last, I was living in the UK and now I am living in Sweden. So still in Europe, but a different country, different lifestyle, different studio space, and all really, really excited. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's lovely. And because your last studio space was very beautiful, and from what I can see, this studio space is also very beautiful and gets lots of lovely natural light.
Loads of lovely natural light. I have light on the east and west. So in the morning the light is here, and the evening is there, and yeah, it's really good. And it's such a great space because in winter it gets dark quite early here in Sweden. So to be able to have as much light as possible, it's been so helpful. So when it's light, I have to make the most of it. But luckily, even when it's not sunny, this space still gets loads of light, and I absolutely love it. And
Yeah.
it gets hot, so hence the the short sleeve is it's like summer.
I know for some reason I had it in my mind that maybe you were in Italy or Spain right now, but that's where you've been to Italy recently and you have retreats in Spain. So
Yes,
that's probably where I'm
yeah, that's
making those
why.
connections. So for
Yeah.
people who haven't met you before, what kind of things do you like to teach on your retreats?
So I am a macrame artist. So all things macrame, you can come to me. And I love everything. From wall hangings that you can see, clothing, jewelry. Macrame is such a great craft because it's so versatile, and you can make anything, almost anything with macrame, which is the art of knotting. And so at the moment, I've just finished a project for one of my online courses, and it's a flower lampshade. She's absolutely beautiful. And next, I'll be working to finish the project for the macrame for the Zen retreat. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I know what I'm making, but I actually haven't physically made it yet. Sorry.
That's okay because we were talking about this and I said, have you got something that you can share with everyone? But the way you described it sounded so lovely. Would you like to describe it again so that everybody can get super excited about what they're going to make with you?
Yes, so we're gonna make a butterfly. So we're gonna make a butterfly necklace. But what it's so special and unique about this butterfly necklace is that we're gonna have some wooden beads. So similar to this wall hanging that I have, we're gonna have small wooden beads. And the idea with this natural wooden bead is that anyone can add their own essential oil. So you can add like 1 or 2 drops, and it depends how you feel that morning or that evening. You might want to put like some drops that that help you with awakening or connection with your inner self. There's just so many amazing essential oil out there, and so that's what makes it unique. So as well as being beautiful, because we have the wooden beads and because people can add their own essential oil, it makes it really, really unique. And the idea is that you can take the butterfly and you can make it into a necklace, but also it could be a keyring, it could be a card diffuser, or it could be a small wall hanging that you can, put around the house.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And it's so much fun to be able to wear something that you've made, that is beautiful. You could give it to someone as a gift because it's that
Yes,
nice kind of
correct.
size. It would make a great gift. But I really love that you have the opportunity to really personalize it by a scent and putting a scent on the wooden beads. So I think I'm getting excited about it because I was reading there's different scents for like stimulating and like getting focused and relaxing. So it really does open up the doors to a whole lot of fun ways of playing and smelling great.
I know, I know. I love it. I'm really excited.
I'm curious, how did you come up with the idea? What made you kind of put all those dots together to make the butterfly necklace?
Well, I wanted to make something pretty. So last year we made the leaf. So I quite like the being inspired by nature, and I thought butterfly, and it's spring now, and it's just so beautiful out here. But I wanted to give it an extra layer, and so I was looking at a way we could do it. And yeah, I did this project, which is in my latest book, Mindful Macrame. So the idea is the same, having the wooden bits so people could add the essential oil. And I thought, but that was so this is a car diffuser. So the idea is that it's in the car. And I thought, why don't we make it for a necklace? And one of the things that we did last year at the macrame retreat that I did in Spain, we got these essential oils, like roll-ons that you can put on. And I thought, well, what if you actually can put a drop on the wooden bit and then you could wear it? So instead of putting it on yourself, you put it on the piece of jewelry. And I just love that. And I thought because it's a Zen retreat, it has that other dimension that I think it works really well.
Yes. Oh, I love it, and I'm very excited to have a play at making these beautiful butterfly aromatherapy, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. Good
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Do you think, I was curious, with the connections of how you came to the butterfly necklace, do you think living in Sweden has helped inspire your creativity or maybe changed your creativity in the sense that you might be more interested in, I don't know, beautiful things outside in Sweden versus beautiful things outside in the UK?
I think it has helped in two ways. One, moving from the UK to Sweden, it definitely is a slower pace of life. Um, and also because I had to give up working with some clients because in the UK now in Europe, it just free up my time too. And so I think it just gave me more time to play and do more macrame for fun in a way, if that kind of makes sense. And also, yeah, definitely the environment as in nature has helped a lot. This way, I was living in the countryside in England, but still is very busy all the time. In Sweden, it's just so quiet. There's hardly anyone in this country. That I've never been in a traffic jam, which is blows my mind every time. But so yeah, definitely be more connected with nature. And also, spring is just starting right now, while in England, it's been a month. So I think now, as I was thinking about the project, that's when you start seeing the blossom. And so definitely it has inspired me, see the first bumblebees and, just literally see nature waking up. And I
Mm.
think that's maybe unconsciously, but that's, I think, what has inspired me to come out with the butterfly design.
That connection as well. Yeah, I could imagine. I would say that it's a very pretty place right now with the spring and lots of flowers coming out and all of that beautiful stuff that I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're very lucky because we're not quite there yet where we're coming from in Nova Scotia. We've still got snow on the ground. We had a big snowfall the other day, which is a little unusual for this time of year, but I know that my daffodils are starting to poke their heads out and I can see little bits of yellow where they're going to be the flowers. So I'm very much looking forward to the spring as well and the warmer weather. And
Yeah.
you mentioned a moment ago that you have a
Yes.
new book, and it ties in very nicely to the Making Zen ethos, which is all about slowing down and enjoying the moments of making. Would you like to share a little bit about the book with us?
Yes, very here. So you can see, so it's called Mindful Macrame. And what I love about the book is, and as you say, it's about the enjoying the process. But what I found with macrame and with a lot of handmade craft, that it's very mindful, it's very meditative, and what I wanted to create with this book is create projects where they only have maybe one or two knots. So similar to what we'll be creating during the Making Zen is an opportunity to make something, but because you repeat the same step or the same knot over and over again, you can really get into that kind of flow and meditative space. And so the book, all the projects have been designed with that in mind, and then also been designed with different time frames, because not everyone will have 3 hours a day to make, a macrame wall hanging. Sometimes you only have 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So in the books, you have project that takes less than half an hour, less than an hour, and then a bigger project. So it depends on the time you have, how you feel, how creative or how inspired. Then you can flick through and pick the project that works for you. So it's a bit like a cookbook, and it says, well, I only have 10 minutes, and you Google and say cupcake in 10 minutes, because that's all the time you have, and you have to make it. So the cooking is kind of inspired me the book, and I said, okay, you want some creative time, you want to, you could do yoga, you could do meditation, or you can make something and find those still have those benefits of being mindful. So just say you have less than half an hour, you can go in there and create something like this. So not only you have the mindful benefit, but also the creative benefits of having made something for you or as a gift. So that's the idea of the book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really, really, yeah, I absolutely loved it. And on top of that, I've also, for each project, there's like some journal prompts if people don't want to go a little bit deeper. And then there's some breath work as well that you can do at the beginning or at the end of the project to kind of ground yourself and make it more meaningful.
Mm. Oh, I absolutely love it. And a fabulous idea to break these projects into whether they're like a half hour, an hour, or a bigger project, because sometimes there's nothing worse than starting something knowing that you won't have enough time to finish it. Whereas if you're like, well, I know I only have a small amount of time, but this is very doable, it gives you that would you say a dopamine hit, because you've gone in, you've done something, and you've got something to show for it at the end, even if it was, half an hour, something like that. Yeah, I love it. So you were inspired by cooking to come up with that process.
Yes. There's a famous chef in England. It's called Jamie Oliver, and he's got these books that has recipe all under 50 minutes or under 30 minutes, and that kind of gave me the idea. So we're all really, really busy, and probably us, we're so aware about the benefit of craft, but there's lots of people that would love to start a craft, but they feel, I don't have the time, and it just takes this and that. And so I wanted to make this book really, really accessible for anyone. And because you only use a couple of knots each project, I think it's maximum 2 knots. It's, I try to strip it down. So it's just so simple. Like something like this is so simple, but it's pretty, it's doable. And hopefully it kind of sparks that creativity, and then that you can be creative even for a little while during your day or your week, and even for the busy even for the busy people. So yeah, that was the inspiration.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I mean, gosh, how often, well, I'm speaking for myself anyway, you find yourself spending half an hour scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or something like that, when you could just as easily spend half an hour making something, which I'm sure would make you feel so much better at the end of that half an hour rather
Yes,
than
100%. I agree with you.
That's wonderful. I love it. And I love that you were inspired by Jamie Oliver. That's so cool.
His books, I mean, I love his books, and and I thought that's such a great idea. Not why apply for crafts,
Yeah.
and creative time, like micro moments. So
Micro macrame moments.
Yeah, I should come up with something.
There's your next book title.
Yeah, exactly.
And for people who like the sound of this, like myself, where can we go and buy a copy? Where's the best place to?
So you can buy you in Canada, right? So
Yep.
there are lots of bookshops that have it, or otherwise Amazon. But if you don't want to use Amazon, your local bookshop, craft bookshops, yeah, just Google it and you will find. Yeah.
And it sounds like an incredibly inspiring book and very easy to get into for people who haven't done any macrame and for people who have, but just are looking for maybe a little bit of inspiration or a modern twist on things as well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Would you have, I'm just kind of looking at all of the beautiful things that you have surrounding you in your studio. Do you have a favorite project that you like?
Ooh, I think the favorite project right now is my new flower lampshade. Because I finished it yesterday and I was just so proud. And it hangs like this, and there's you just need to put a pretty light bulb. So this is a project I'm working on for the for online course, which is the Macrame Bootcamp 3, which is for very advanced macrame lovers. So that's the project I finished, and that's what I'm working on, and it's my favorite. Every time I do something, like a few months ago, my book was my favorite because it's the latest things I've done. Now it's this, and it changes, and that's what's exciting.
I couldn't agree with you more. I always get excited by the project that I'm currently working on. Not that I
Yeah,
don't love all of the other ones, but there's always the thrill of the new and the excitement of seeing it all come together from like
exactly.
concept into reality. Yeah. It's so and I'm super thrilled. So I can't wait to see what's in that book for everyone to have a look at. You also have a really fun project. I think it's kind of in the pipelines at the moment. You just recently went to Italy for. Are
Oh,
you allowed to share that?
oh, the Louis Vuitton, is that what you?
Mm.
Oh, okay. So actually, that wasn't in Italy. It was in Oslo, which is in Norway. But yes. So what happened? So that was one of my latest collaboration was with Louis Vuitton, which was amazing.
Mm.
And yeah, I was asked if I wanted to make a keyring for the VIP clients. So they have Louis Vuitton has for this spring and summer collection, they have a nautical inspired collection. I think nautical is going to be very in apparently in spring and summer. So because they were launching the new collection, they wanted someone on site to show the clients how to make a keyring. And so I was invited to go. It was a 2 days event, and it was just amazing. It's really really good, and it's the first time that I work with a luxury brand. And actually, I was nervous, and my sister was like, "Isabella, why are you nervous? We've been teaching to so many people, and probably the people you're teaching, they've done macrame or they've done other craft and she said, probably the client that come up, they've never done any craft, so you'll be
Mhm.
fine." And actually, everyone was so lovely. Everyone from in the store, the clients. It was such an amazing event, and to be able to again share share crafting, share macrame, and for these people that usually don't do craft things, to take that time to do it and see them really enjoying it, putting the keyring on the bag straight away, being proud. It just makes me, that's what I'm doing it for. So it
Yeah.
was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, how much fun. I can imagine the connections happening and there's just the thrill for people who might not think that they're creative or might not have done the macrame knots before, just to be able to say, look at this, I made this.
Yes, yeah, they were all, their smile, just so proud. And again, it was very quick, very simple keyring, but yeah, they all loved it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, what a fabulous thing. And thank you for the sneak tip on what's going to be fashionable this spring and summer.
I know. I didn't know until 2 weeks ago. Now you know. You all know.
Now you know. Well, that's so exciting. Congratulations to be working alongside a luxury brand like that. Have you got any other fun projects in the pipeline that you'd like to share with us?
So I have the macrame retreat in Seville coming up next month, which is super, super exciting. And so it's the second time I'm running it in the same venue. So it's brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's it, really. I don't know how it is in Canada, but in Sweden, the school holiday starts at the beginning of June. So in 6 weeks, the kids are going to be off. So I will probably take a break and then come back in the September.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. Our summer holidays start at the end of June, so you're a little bit before, and the kids go
Yeah.
back to school in September?
No, they go back to school mid-August.
August. Okay. Yeah. So our kids go back in September. So it's
Yeah.
shuffled a
So
bit, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not used to it because in England and in Italy, it's the same. You finish later and you start later. So yeah. So this is the first year where the summers is like, it feels like it's really, it's very early. But
It does.
anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Well, you got to embrace it, don't you? Make the most of that warmth
Exactly.
and that sunshine, because I guess that's why they kind of are a little bit flexible like that. It always takes a little bit of headspace because having grown up in Australia, our summer is, and the other, so, like when winter is in the Northern Hemisphere. So our school year begins in February over there, and we stop for the whole summer. So we go from school year begins January 1, no, sorry, February 1, and then it kind of finishes November, December, depending on what you are. So it's
Yeah. Yeah. The other way around.
it really is. Isabella, well, it's so lovely chatting with you, and I'm so excited that you're part of the Making Zen Online Retreat. Now, I just realized before we wrapped up that I forgot to ask you for people who haven't met you before, because you've got a fabulous story about how you got started doing the
Yeah.
macrame. Would you like to share that with us? Because I just
Yes.
love hearing it.
Oh yeah, we forgot to say that. I think because we done this last year. But so my background is in interior design, and about nearly 10 years ago, I was feeling really frustrated in my career, and I knew I wanted to do some craft. I wanted to find that a way to be creative outside work and find mindfulness and do something for myself, express my creativity. Mostly, I think it was expressing my creativity. But I didn't know which craft I wanted to do because I was so busy that I've never done any up to that point, even though I love doing things by hand and being creative. So I decided to start a journey of learning 12 crafts in 12 months. And I thought if I try 12 crafts, there must be one that I like. And it just happened that macrame was my first one. So I did my first month of macrame, absolutely loved it. And then I continued and did all the other crafts. And that's where my creative journey really started. So macrame was just a hobby, and then I started teaching some workshop on the side. And then about a year and a half later, we moved from London to the countryside, and that's when I decided to turn my hobby into a business and leave my career as interior designer. And then since then, all these amazing things that happen. I feel like so blessed that I've been able to just do macrame every day, and that's my job. So
Wow,
yeah.
it's such a fun story, and I love hearing that you were going to do 12 crafts in 12 months, because you kind of adhered to that, I think. You
Yeah,
still,
yeah,
yeah.
I did all of them. Yeah, I
Mm.
did all of them, and I try to remember them all because people always ask, "So what are you 12?" It's like I always forget one. But so I had the macrame, weaving, crochet, slow stitching, natural dyeing, screen printing, candle making, wreath making, basketry, and then I did tamari ball, and then paper cutting.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was like my list I liked. It was the paper cutting. And then probably there's another one that I can't remember. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just love it. How much fun to kind of set yourself a list of things that
Oh,
you
polymer
can.
clay. That's what I remember now.
What was it? Sorry?
The polymer clay.
Polymer.
Polymer clay. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I just think that's so much fun to kind of set yourself this goal of doing a different craft each month. And did you attend workshops or did you just pick up books and learn from the books? What was
A
your way
mix.
of doing
So
it?
I did a few workshops. For some of them, I did workshop like macrame. It was a friend of mine who taught me for weaving. I did workshops. So yeah, so definitely a few workshops. Then I had some books, and then some were like tutorials online, and then just literally practicing myself.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a fun thing to do, a fun challenge to kind of like say, all right, I'm going to learn these things and figure out what I like. And I'm curious, did you grow up in a household where there was creativity around you? Or did you kind of just feel like you needed that extra input of creativity to start your 12 months of creative projects?
I wouldn't say it wasn't particularly creative, but if I wanted to be creative, no one stopped me. I don't know if it makes sense. So no one ever told me, "Oh, you can't be creative," or being creative is not good, or something like that. But my mom never sat down with me to do creative project. That's what I'm that's what I'm saying. But I've always been drawn to create to things that were creative. So I've always liked to build things and do things with my hand as a child. And my youngest daughter is the same. The recycling bin is basically her treasure. She'll just put and cut and stick. So I think the reason why at that time in my life I felt I needed that other creative outlet is because the role where I was in wasn't particularly creative. The studio was working for and myself were not aligned. And I think one of the other thing is the year before I started this, I had my second daughter. And I think I realized that I hit kind of the ceiling in my career if I also wanted to spend time with my kids. I just had to, I couldn't do both. I couldn't grow into my career and also spend the time with the children. And to be honest, I wasn't even spending that much time with the children. So that was, I think, the reason that I felt really frustrated. So for
Mm.
me, I wanted to find something to kind of help me deal with that frustration and that struggle that I was having at the time. And then through that, then it kind of showed me a new path. And the moment I saw the light, I was like, I'm going. There's no
Oh,
going back. I'm gonna make this work because I'm not going to office ever again. And so that was the determination and the mission.
yes. Well, what a beautiful story, and how it gives me goosebumps just hearing how things have aligned from you feeling your frustration to following your calling of creation. So now that you can spend time at home, you can spend time with your kids, and you can spend time creating and share your love with it with everybody
Yeah,
else.
I know. And that for me is, I love making all the things I make. I love design and bring ideas into life. But for me to be able to teach, and I think that's how my business started, was running workshop. That's how I saw the light. I thought, okay, maybe this could turn into a business. It was sharing and then see how that it would spark if it's creativity of moment of mindfulness or that smile, feeling proud of yourself. Those moments for me just makes me, it's just the best. It's the best part. Is how it me take having the courage to take that path now has a ripple effect on other people, and hopefully they will pass on the ripple effect and so on. And for me, that's the best thing.
It's such a beautiful analogy. I love the ripple effect. So you kind of like you're this rock coming in and then all of these ripples going out and everybody getting excited by the creativity and then the mindfulness aspect as well that comes from creating and becoming grounded and centered as well. For
Yeah.
people who may not have tried macrame before, what would you suggest is a good starting point? Making your butterfly is a good one, but how do you get over that kind of sometimes there's a resistance like, oh, I don't know, and macrame is not for me, or that kind of thing. So, what would you do to say, hey, let's give it a try? It's so much fun.
So I think that the best thing is to on my website there's a page. When you go on my website, it says macrame for beginners, and in there there's like some free tutorials, and they're really really simple. And I think that is the best way. It's just take any strings that you have at home. You know, it could be garden string, cooking string, any strings that you have at home, and just give it a go. They're like simple project. I think the first one that comes to mind is a coaster, which is very simple. Just use one knot, and just try it and see if you like it. You know, sometimes it looks more difficult than what it is. You know, until you try and you say, oh, actually, it wasn't that difficult. I can do this, and then you say, okay, and then maybe I can make something else. But yeah, I think that would be the easiest way.
Yeah, well, when you
Right.
put it like that, it really is because most people have got string at home. All you really need are your fingers too,
Yeah.
apart from
Yeah.
the string.
Yeah.
So it's very accessible, and I imagine you could travel with it very easily too, or take it with you from place to place. You don't need lots of
Yes.
supplies or things to hold it together or anything.
And I have a little round trivet, like a cork one from IKEA. You know, you need some pins, and you can just pin your strings, and then you do your macrame. So it's very easy.
No, I love it. Oh, well, I'm so thrilled that you're part of Making Zen. I'm super excited about this butterfly idea. I just love the idea of combining the macrame with the beads, with the scent. I think everybody's going to be walking around with these beautiful necklaces that also
Yes.
smell very lovely, all thanks to you. Is there any words of advice or wisdom that you'd like to share with others before we wrap up today?
Just enjoy the process, really truly enjoy the process for all the projects in the online retreats. They're all amazing, and also open-minded and beginner's mind. Just try it, give it a go, and see what happens.
Yeah, love it. Such wise words. Thank you for joining me in this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And if you'd like to learn more about Making Zen, please check out the links below where you can find out all about the workshops and creativity, community, and all that kind of good stuff. Wishing you many happy hours of stitching.